Hello and welcome back to Youth Codes Jams online bits and bytes lessons. Today we're going to be working with Python again. We'll get to that in just a second. In recap, we're going to keep posting our lessons on Mondays and Wednesdays, and the next couple weeks that's going to look a little different. We'll still have one bits and bytes lesson a week, but there's going to be something special posted for you guys. So pay attention to our social media for what that's going to be about. We will continue to hold our hangout sessions at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. These aren't restricted to the most recent lesson. If you're new and joining us, or you decide to go back and do an activity you missed, you're welcome to come online and ask us questions about that one or show off what you did. We've had students come online and ask about other projects they're working on. You guys are welcome to do that. We're happy to try and help you out, or just kind of see what you're doing and ask questions about it if you want to show it off, or whatever. This is just kind of a fun social time that centers around the coding. So let's get going. Before we get to our lesson, I want to remind everyone that to sign up for those online lessons, you have to go to our website to register. So you go to Jam at Home Bits and Bytes Online, and you'll see the most recent lesson at the top. If you just scroll down a little bit, there's this register for the Q&A session. That's the same thing as the Hangout session. Go ahead and sign up for that. It's free. You will get an email with the link and password. You will not get any other emails from us unless you sign up for them, so we won't be spamming you. In addition, any activity sheets we have available will be under the most recent videos. So you'll see this will be lesson 16 Shapemaker, so we'll have our videos uploaded underneath here. All right, so that's all the housekeeping I have for us today. Let's go ahead and get started. So you should have downloaded your Shapemaker activity sheet. And so today we'll need, your computer should obviously have an internet connection. Chromebook is not going to work for this one, guys, so we'll make sure to put that on the disclaimer. But in case you missed that on the page, you need a desktop or a laptop computer for this one. So we need to install a program called Thonny. For this one, since we're using a library called Turtle that deals with kind of like art stuff, we'll be doing some drawing with it. That one isn't supported on online IDEs like the one we've been using, Replit. That's not going to support it. You can type all your code and it will try to run, but at the very end of it, you won't actually be able to draw any shapes. So to download Thonny, you're just going to click on this link or type this link in here. So thonny.org. I'm going to allow it to open. I have security settings set up, so I know this is safe. And then right here at the top, this square that I've highlighted, you're going to choose which machine you have, and this is only to be downloaded with the parent's permission, by the way. Don't download this without asking, but you'll click the download link for whichever one you need and you'll install it. It's already installed on mine, and I don't want to go through the process of uninstalling, so you'll have to follow the prompts on the screen for each one. Mac is pretty easy to install things on, so is Windows, but again, only install this with a parent or guardian permission. So let's go ahead and go to our activity. So now that we have, you should have your Thonny installed. A quick note, wherever you install that is where your programs have to be saved to run. So I have Thonny installed on my desktop. So any program I make has to be saved to my desktop if I want to run it. Now, it doesn't have to be kept there for all of time. I actually move them into a folder, but if I want to test something out, I have to move it back to the screen. So the very first thing we're going to do here, it's not on the list, but we're going to save our file, because later if we try to run this without saving it, it's going to shoot off an error. So you have to save it first. So at the top left of my screen, I'm going to File, Save As, and I'm going to save it as Turtle Project. You always want to save the file as something you're going to understand what's in it. So like for my homework assignments, I might label them homework number 6 or something like that, so that I know. And because of how I save my files, I don't have to list the class name in that. But if I just had one giant folder, I would actually label that as, let's see, applications programming homework 6 or computer organization lab 3. So something like that is what I would do if I just had everything in a file. I'm a little crazy. I'm very organized, so I don't have to do that. I can keep my title short. So for this one, we're just going to title it Turtle Project. It's already set to save as a Python file, so we're going to go ahead and hit save. And you should see here that it changed from untitled to turtleproject.py. So name this whatever you want, but do get in the habit of practicing naming your files in a way that you'll understand what's going on. Okay, so today we're going to be working with the Turtle library of Python. And what this is it's a, like I said earlier, I think it's a kind of the art side of programming. This one's going to allow us to have a pop-up window where we get to set a background. Today we're going to draw some shapes with code. There's lots of things you can do with this. I found, let's see if I can find it. In my history, yes, the other day I found a really good site that kind of went through and explained what Python turtles were. Let's just search for what that one, here it is. So it's on realpython.com. This is a beginner's guide to Python Turtle. This goes really in depth into what Python Turtle is. So if you want to explore this more after today's lesson on your own time, you're welcome to, and you really should. You can just go to realpython.com and then type in this URL exactly as you see it, and it will be able to go there, but it will go into great depth. So it's a pre-installed library that enables users to create pictures and shapes by providing them with a virtual canvas. So we're drawing online today. Should be fun. We've kind of done this with other activities at the block code level. This is one way to do it at a text-based level. So we're going to go to step 1, and the first thing we're going to do is import Turtle. And the reason we're doing that is even though this library is pre-installed within our program, we have to tell our file, our current, so by pre-installed in the program, I mean it's pre-installed in our IDE, which is Thani. So we're telling it to run, to be active in our program by typing in the import statement. Then we're going to hit enter, and we're going to set the background color to black. So to do this, we're going to use the turtle object and dot notation. So we're typing turtle dot background color. So this is our method that we're setting. And then you're going to, whoops, make sure that you're outside. Open parentheses, open quotation, oh, single quote, my bad. Black, single quote again, close, hit enter. So what that does is that imports the turtle library and sets the background color, and we can go ahead and test that. So make sure you save your file. Thani will not run the most up-to-date version if you don't save. So if you ever make a change and you still get the same error, even though you fixed it, it's because you didn't save your file. So I'm going to hit run, and we have the pop-up window right here. It's not going to do anything yet, but that shows us that that's working. So on to step 2. We're going to ask the user to tell us how many sides they want the shape to be, and then we're going to calculate the angle. So if you've taken geometry, you know that the sum of all angles in regular shapes is 360 degrees. So to get the angle of each, to get the measure of each angle in a 5-sided shape, would have 5 points, you'd have to divide 360 by 5. So we're going to set up that math. So first we're going to do num underscore sides. Remember, this is called snake case. It's the standard for doing variable names in Python. We're going to do our int cast because everything inputted that we type into Python is a string, so we're casting it to an int. And then we're going to use our input method so that we can accept an answer from the user. So how many sides do you want in your shape? Question mark. I like to add a little space, otherwise the number will be printed right next to that question mark. So we close that with our 2 parentheses, one for the input method, one for the int casting, hit enter. Now we're going to create angle, which is our variable to hold how many, the degree of each angle. So 360 divided by number of sides. Okay, so now if I hit save again, I'm going to move this back over here for a second. I'm going to run. So you saw it came up here. I need to push this off to the side and come down here and type in, I want a 6-sided figure. So it accepted it. We have no errors. That's good. We're good to keep continuing. I can't do anything with it yet because, again, we haven't programmed that. And I'm going to close this out while we're not using it. So on to step 3. This time we're going to tell it our starting point, and we're going to use that using X and Y coordinates. Trying to think. So different programming IDEs and languages will set their coordinates in different places. So it looks like on this one, our center point might be in the middle because we're going to move 200 points to the left and up 150 points is going to be our starting point. So usually things will start in the top left corner 0, 0 and move throughout your screen that way. In environments like this where you're creating it or in Scratch, they tend to start in the middle like a regular X, Y, and Z, XY graph. So we're going to type in turtle, which is our object here that we're moving around, go to, and then we are going to tell it to go to -200 and 150 up. So that's going to be our start point. And then we're going to do turtle begin underscore fill. So we're telling it that we're going to start using a color to fill the shape that we're going to be drawing. And then we're going to set that fill color. So in this example, we use blue. I'm not sure how many color names it accepts. It probably accepts the basic ones. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, white. You can do black with this one because our background is black, so you wouldn't see anything, but you could try any of those if you don't want to do blue. I'm going to stick with blue for now. Okay, so this is where we get to our actual drawing. Everything up to here has just kind of been set up. So on step 4, we're going to use a while loop to go through how many sides, and we're going to draw a side, and when we hit the end, of one side, it's going to turn our angle amount and draw the next side. So we're going to have while number of sides is less than 1. So as we draw each one, we're going to decrease number of sides until we get to 1. And then after we get to that one, it should stop. And we're going, so number of sides is going to decrease by 1 because if we say we're starting with 6, then after we draw one side, we have 5 to draw. So instead of counting up, we're counting down this time. Okay. Number of sides, we're going to minus that by 1 each time. And then in step 5, we're going to tell it how to turn and move. So we're going to use, like I said earlier, we're going to turn right and use our angle measurement to turn this. So 360 divided by 6 would be 60. So we turn 60 degrees right each time. And then we're going to move forward 50 pixels, points. I don't really know. It's arbitrary. I would assume points on a screen or pixels, they're about the same. Very, very small measurements. You're not moving as far as you think you would be. And then we're going to come back out. Now, I kind of skipped over this. We have turtle.end underscore fill close. So if you've watched other lessons, we don't have the same syntax in Python that we have in Java. So we don't have all the curly brackets and the semicolons and stuff like that. Instead, we have, we essentially use white space. So indentation is very important. So my loop, this indent, and tells it that anytime we're inside this, these things are repeating until we get to one side, and then it's going to stop. And then when I come back out here and I'm lined up against the edge of my file right here, this is outside the loop. So that's how it tells that when this white space isn't there, we're not in the loop anymore. So if I accidentally had this line all the way lined up against 12, it would assume this was the end of my loop. So it would just count down, and then I would get an error on line 13 because it's saying there's an indent here when there shouldn't be. So we're going to go ahead and save that and run it. So remember, we need to move this over. I'm going to do 6. Oh, the name turn. Oh, sorry. I was thinking turn, so I typed it. It should be turtle on line 12 and 13. Turtle dot right angle, turtle dot forward 50. Okay, so we're going to save that, and let's try running it again. So we're going to type in 6. So I don't know if you saw that. It went really fast. I can run it again, but our little cursor started here, and it drew. And at the very end, it drew the 6-sided shape. At the very end, it showed us the shape. It filled the shape. So what we did was we said, okay, start filling here. And then it drew the shape, and then it closed, and then it ended the fill so that we finally saw it there. I wonder if I can run it. Yeah. So I'm going to try it one more time. Watch it over there. I'm going to say 10 sides. And there's a 10-sided one. So that is it for our things today. On Thursday, we're going to try and do some adventure modes with anyone who logs on. So if you want to try these on your own to see if you can do them, that will be fun. And then we can go over what you did or what you maybe had problems with either the basic activity, other things you've done, or these adventure modes. So on Thursday, together, we can try to change the color of the background and the shape. We can create another shape with different colored sides. So that's adding another shape to what we're already drawing. So we can draw 1, 2, 3 shapes. Create tessellations with shapes that you create. I'm not sure what those are. I'd have to look those up, honestly. And then what happens when you input 2? Is there any way that you can fix the error? So let's see what happens when we input 2. Because you can't close a shape. So it didn't really give us an error, which could be something to do with the Thani, but you could tell that it didn't really draw anything either. We essentially have a dot. We don't even have a line. So it did kind of fail, but it didn't fail in a way that we got an error. So that's interesting. So how would you fix that? That's my hint to you is going to be that's handling user input, which we've talked about in previous Python lessons. Maybe go back and check those out, or just show up on Thursday and we can go over it together. So we'll be back next week with some lessons. I hope you guys are enjoying these and doing all right as the school year finishes up. Hopefully things will return to a place where we can actually meet in person soon. At Youth Code Jam, we're working on more lessons and more events for you guys to do over the summer while we're all at home. So if you follow our social media, if your parents follow us on social media, just watch out there. We'll make announcements for upcoming events and other things that we're planning on doing. So we're not going anywhere. We'll be around. All right. Have a nice day. See you guys next time.